watching Umami.
Alright, hey, what's going on, everyone? Okay, so, just working on interface episode 23. That's what I'm doing. Just wanted to do some live streaming because I don't know, I was bored. I was watching Better Call Saul again, going through that whole season, the whole all the show episodes, seasons, I guess. So, what you guys doing tonight? Friday. So it's Friday night, eh? Comic book drawings, eh? That's cool, man. What do you do it digitally, or do you use comic paper, or what do you do? Procrastinating on an essay. Hey, thanks, Sammy. Tony Vice, thank you. Yeah, so this is not Henrik. I don't know what I'm drawing. I need a shot of Henrik, kind of in perspective, looking away from the camera, so I'm gonna try to freehand this one. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Usually I use references, but I was just gonna try to draw this one out. I feel like his head would be more turned. God. Oh, my brush gets all big and then it just lags the computer. Digitally, I'm on page 50. Oh, sweet, man, 50. Yeah, I mean, working digitally would be so much easier. What software do you use? I know there's like one called Medibang that's pretty good for drawing comics. Sammy, I do all the base drawings in Photoshop, but I use After Effects and Cinema 4D as well. Basically, just do my drawings in Photoshop. Man, I can't seem to rotate his head properly. I'm just gonna do this. This is just a guide. This gray layer. Procreate, it's pretty easy to use. Yeah, I think I've used that too, actually. It's great software. Caroline likes to use it. Hey, and what was your OG comic with Mischief and Henrik about? It was only 1 page long. It was basically episode 1 without the part where Mischief talks about his backstory. He basically just takes a cigarette out of Henrik's mouth and then he just says he's a bus. That's all it is. He doesn't even transform into a bus. He just says he's a bus. So that was the extent of that comic. That was basically the inspiration what started that character. So. Hey, Valentus? Thank you for the comment. Do you have any advice on how to create concepts as an artist? Well, okay. What kind of concepts? Like, what are you talking about? Like, concept art, like backgrounds and stuff? Or are you talking about characters? Let me know and I'll give you what I think on that. But okay, so this is Henrik's hat. It's more. You have to be wary where his head starts. Drew, thank you. How do you make the music for the show? It adds such a strange vibe to the show. So, before I did animations, I used to make music. A lot of, well, the music that you hear right now is all under the name Hex System, which is it's just releasing music under that name, I guess, for about since 2009 or whatever. And pretty just messing around with Logic for about 10 years. So eventually you start to pick up certain things like some music theory, and although I can't play the piano live very well, I can only mostly improvise. I'm able to compose the piano tracks and stuff using software and have it play back for me. So that's what I do mostly, using Logic. The new Corona Wave album, I used a synthesizer, which is a digital synth, but a very good one. It's ASM Hydrasynth. So I've been using that. I'm really happy with that. It's got like polyphonic aftertouch, which means basically if you press down on a key after you've already pressed down on it, it will like make like pressure noises, I guess, if that makes sense. But it does it at like 8 at a time. Usually most keyboards have only I think it's called monophonic aftertouch, which basically means all the keys start making the same increased pressure sound rather than individual ones. Anyway. How do you develop the series from the comic to expand on the concept question? When I started the interface, I did not think it was going to be this kind of big epic story that it is right now. The first few episodes are mostly just introducing you to the characters, and I thought by episode 3 I need to have some sort of conflict, and so I developed this Greetings or Bugs character, and he's a bit of a trope, I guess, but I thought that if I were to make him more of a gray character than such a black and white character, the whole kind of like world domination thing will be a little bit less tropey and a little bit more credible. And I basically just kind of made an episode, and then I thought what would happen next, made the next episode, and I thought what would happen next, and then I made another episode and I thought what would happen in the next 2 episodes or the next 3, and then I started, you know, I make another episode and it's like, okay, what's going to happen in the next 4 episodes? Like, how am I going to tie these things together? And so that just kind of kept growing until the point where I'm at episode 23, and it's extremely it's kind of like a big weight on my shoulders to make sure that everything I do makes sense within the universe, and when I finish it, it doesn't just seem like a whole bunch of random stuff happened. There's actually some sort of cohesive linking. So I'm finding the episodes to be increasingly difficult to make, because when I started, I was basically just thinking, what if Mischief just ran down the street and he was like a noodle and he was like really, you know, floppy and stuff, and that's pretty much the extent of what my episode thinking was back then. And yeah, just by the way, people keep thinking that I'm going to end Interface, which it doesn't mean I'm going to stop making animations. It just means the storyline for Interface is coming to a completion. You guys don't want to be listening about Henrik's long lost great granddaughter in episode 50, do you? So I'm gonna tie it up, and it's not gonna be like, you know, when you watch The Simpsons in 2021 and you just get depressed. Hey, thank you, JL. I'm happy you enjoyed Chimney Alfonso. You know what I realized the other day? Did you guys ever watch that movie Manhunter? He's like the serial killer in the Hannibal Lecter series, except the interior of his house, very tasteful. He's got a lot of modern art. And I thought to myself, geez, like this Chimney Alfonso character kind of has the same taste as the Red Dragon character from Manhunter. He's kind of got like this weird modernistic kind of interior with his stereo system and stuff. So I don't know, I just thought that was a weird link, I guess. Hey, thanks everyone who's talking about their plushie and stuff. I really do appreciate you guys buying those things. I got 2 of them on my shelf back there. One of them's a gift for someone I know, and I got the prototype one. I'm going to keep that one for myself. It's basically the same, just slightly chunkier, I guess. Hey, Sixer, thank you. Comments there. Let's see here. Oh man, Manhunter. So Carolina and I watched Manhunter, and then we watched the remake called Red Dragon that has Anthony Hopkins in it. And like the original Manhunter movie is just like the way that they start the movie off, and and some of the scenes are just so much better than the remake. Like the remake is like a Hollywood movie almost. There's a scene, it's just exposition, and you're just watching it and you're like, this is just exposition. But the Michael Mann version is like awesome. However, I feel like the Michael Mann version kind of falls apart near the end. It gets a little bit weird. There's like the scene where they're like getting, like the police are like kind of arguing, and the one of the rooms that they filmed it in, it looks like a film set. Like the window looks like a film set window. Like they have a fake building in the background, and it's really kind of takes you out of it a bit. But that's like really my only complaint about that movie. Otherwise, I think it's amazing. And I think the remake, Red Dragon remake, it's a decent movie, and it gets a lot better towards the second half. The first half it's not great. When you watch Manhunter first and you watch Red Dragon, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just like Manhunter does a lot more showing rather than telling, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if I really like the perspective of this shot here. Let me just because see, here's the thing, it's actually supposed to be a lower angle. I'm supposed to be able to see up. This looks like I'm looking like I'm filming above his shoulder. Let me try a new one. Okay, that's his shoulder there. This would be the brim of his hat, and it would be facing down. Okay, and that means that's the back of his head here. His nose is somewhere. You wouldn't even see the front of his mouth, really, because his shoulder's in the way. And you wouldn't even really see his eye because it's such an angle. And the brim of his hat would be more like that. And that wouldn't be so big. Top of his hat. Yeah, the Mischief plush. I think there's about 100 of them left, I guess. I don't think they're gonna sell quickly, but they've been selling like one every couple days. So most people that wanted them got them like 6 months ago or whatever. So. There's a series called Clarice now. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check that one out. I like the series, you know. Not the series, the Hannibal Lecter universe. No, I never read the books. Okay, his ear, I think could be something like that. He's actually looking at something in this shot, so his arms are kind of, I don't know if I should draw that. You know what I'll do instead? I'll just scale this up. That's kind of more of what I was going for, this shot, this kind of angle. yeah, so got my rough guide here. I think I can draw it in for real now, maybe. Let's read. Hey man, what's going on? Hope you're well. I'm doing all right. How are you doing? Can't wait for vinyl to come in though. I'm surprised there's discount on Patreon. Though the price is already at. Yeah, so yeah, I got these new vinyls I'm making for the Corona Wave 1 and 2. Basically mix them together, so there's 8 tracks. They're being mastered they're gonna be cut onto a lacquer on Tuesday, shipped to the Czech Republic, and then they're gonna make metal. I don't know exactly how it works, but they're doing something, and then it's gonna go to a plant in Canada. I forget where it is. It's in Toronto or it's west of Toronto. Press out those vinyls. Should have them in about 10 weeks or so, or a little bit more. It's we'll see. Takes a while. I don't, like I was saying, you know, these vinyls are so expensive to make because I don't sell like hundreds, like I don't sell like thousands of them, you know what I mean? I only sell like a couple hundred, so they don't, like the break-even point is like after shipping costs and everything. And that's the thing that's kind of unfortunate about it. They're kind of expensive too, but it's just a fun thing to do because, you know, these are one of the things I have like total control over the quality too. And these next ones are going to have these like really slick, nice covers and stuff. So yeah, I'll be posting news about that. The album itself, I think it should be on Spotify by now. I don't like Clarice. It's like a typical cop drama. You know, Bacon, I talked to Colleen about this a lot. I feel like a lot of television shows would be like they would just be much better if they cut out 70 to 80% of the dialogue and they just had more atmospheric kind of scenes. And rather than squeeze a whole episode, like a whole story arc in one episode, have it go over the next couple episodes, you know? I don't know, that's like an old style of television to have like everything wrap up by the end of the series, by the end of the episode, you know? I guess it's a stylistic choice. But if you're gonna do something like the Hannibal Lecter universe, I don't feel like having everything. I don't know. I've never seen Clarice, so I can't really comment on that. But I'm talking about like most shows that are on television that are in that category. UFO Spaceman. Hey, happy you're here with me. Thank you. What merchandise are you talking about? Yeah, I haven't really posted about it too much yet. I was going to wait until the weekend, but I've got new pre-orders for vinyl records on the Corona Wave. And so if you, I'll find a link here. I go to, yeah, I'll post a link in the chat here. If anyone's interested, it's the new one on the top left. They're pre-orders, so they're not going to ship right away. It's going to be about 10-12 weeks. Do you think you will ever show the complete series as a feature, film festival or something? So when I'm done this, I'm going to have all 24 episodes combined into one feature-length film, basically. And I'll submit it to some film festivals, but it's very unlikely that it will get accepted into any of them because it was previously shown on the internet. So it's just how it is. Unfortunately, there's a disconnect with the film industry and YouTube, which honestly is the future of filmmaking. And I don't say that in the sense that all movies are going to be on YouTube. I'm saying if you want to be a film director in the future, you have to start on YouTube, and or you don't have to start on YouTube, but you have to start on some sort of digital platform to get yourself out there. I don't think working up the old way through the unions and stuff is the way to do it, unless you have some sort of very famous uncle or something that can help you out. So anyway, I'm going to try to submit it to some film festivals. I'm not expecting anything out of that, though. So probably just do my own distribution. I'll just sell DVDs or Blu-rays of them. Hey, Wayne, thank you. True Colo, thanks, man. Interface Blu-rays possible, please. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Totally. Make it a 4K Blu-ray. Even though it's pixelated. You know, a lot of people wonder why I upload my animations in like 5K or whatever. And it's simply because that if I uploaded my animations in the native resolution, 640 by 480, and you watched it on a television or something like that, it would upscale the pixels using some sort of algorithm rather than nearest neighbor. And so what would happen is the sharpness of the image would suddenly get blurry. And some people might like that aesthetically, but I chose not to do that. And so by having my animations upscaled to 4K using nearest neighbor, basically I'm preserving the sharpness of the pixels. And let's say 50 years from now, people are watching television on 50K monitors. These 4K versions that I'm making will still look pretty pixelated and sharp, even on those monitors, because the difference between, you know, it's just the way it is just, you won't notice. You know, in my opinion, you won't notice really much the difference between 1080p and 4K. It's not that noticeable when it comes to pixel art. So when it's from 4K to like 8K, whatever, you definitely won't notice. But you will certainly notice if it's 640 by 480 upscaled to like 1080p. It will just look like poop. So I want my pixels crisp. You know what I'm saying? Do you see any of your other animations going as far along as Interface has? Not really. The Soup Sun one, I'm planning on doing a third, but that might be the end of the Soup Sun, unless, you know, I like to do things in threes. Bare and Hands might actually have some sort of future that goes beyond 3 episodes. I just haven't really been able to do much with them because I've just been focusing on Interface, so. Professor Pizza. Yeah, there's some festivals out there that would accept something that's been previously on the internet. I think like Slam Dance might have some sort of category for that. I haven't really looked into it too much. Hey, Carolina.
Hi.
Does interface reflect any of your personal beliefs? Yeah, certainly it does. But I try not to make it like too kind of like obvious what I'm trying to say, because that's no fun. And I think even if I didn't try to interject some sort of beliefs or whatever into my animations, it would come out anyway because that's just what happens naturally, you know? Doesn't matter what you're working on, really. His nose is looking a little bit not sticking out enough, maybe. Doesn't look like Hendrix's nose. He also needs kind of like... Yeah, there we go. That looks a little bit better. This is Jude Barnes. Couldn't interface be contracted to Adult Swim? So I mean, those little shorts I did for them was just for kind of like a one-off thing. It was like a fun little thing that they wanted. They're very supportive of animators on the internet, and I think that's pretty awesome of them, because a lot of them animators out there aren't as fortunate as me. I've been very fortunate that I've been able to monetize my animations in a way that I'm able to work on them full time. There's a lot of animators out there that are very talented. Some of them probably more technically talented than I am, but they just haven't been able to establish themselves in the same way. So that's very cool that Adult Swim does that, because they basically gave me like creative control to do whatever I want. They pitched me some ideas, right? But you know, they weren't like telling me what to do. I can't really talk about like whether or not the interface would ever get on some other like network or something, because I mean, that the kind of stuff I can't, even if I were doing it, I couldn't say. There's a lot of like disclosures and that sort of thing. And because nothing currently is happening, there's no point in really me even talking about it, because, you know, maybe one day though, it would be cool to pitch some ideas to a network. The unfortunate side effect would be that I wouldn't be able to connect with you guys so much on the internet. So it's a trade-off, right? But at the same time, doing these animations is kind of driving me a little bit crazy, because it's just a lot of work just to sit here all day and draw. So but I think it's been worth it. You know, I've actually, since I started my series and stuff, I feel like I've really like kind of figured out what I want to like do creatively. And before, I wasn't really sure what I was doing, and I think that's really important. For instance, if I were to pitch some sort of project to a network television show, or having made this channel, whatever idea I would have come up with probably wouldn't have been anywhere near as good as it could be now, because I feel like I've learned a lot since starting this channel. So that's how it is, I guess. Hey, Johnny Fast, thank you for the compliment there. And Damien, thank you. And Makarov, appreciate that. Kevin. Why do you have your vulture violence? Why do you have your hood on? I always have my hood on. I don't know. I like having my hood on. Hey man, what's big fan of your work? I'm also an animated filmmaker, and I was wondering if you had any advice on how to get your work noticed and watched by more people. Kevin Alters. Alters. Well, you have to know your audience, and by that I mean wherever you post your video, are they going to appreciate what you posted? So if you made a short film and it's kind of slow and whatever, if you post it on our videos or whatever, will they enjoy the video? Not necessarily. They kind of like things that are somewhat topical, and if you have a sob story, it helps a lot. Not saying you should do that, obviously, for your own integrity, but it's really tough to give you a good answer because, for instance, when I was starting my music, like I had this music I used to make, right? And no one would listen to it really, and that's no problem. But I started these animations partially to promote my music. So those first 3 animations, those McDonald's videos, they all used my music that I made years ago. And so I was able to capitalize on using a meme to promote my less meme work. So it's kind of like not manipulation. I would say it's kind of like hacking. You have to understand the trends of the internet and use them to your advantage, is what I'm saying. And if you're unable to do that, then you're going to have a hard time finding people to look at your creative work. So there almost has to be like some sort of hook to everything that you do. And that's very unfortunate, but it's just the reality. And if you don't have a hook, people aren't going to be interested to check out what it is. So that would be my advice. If you're going to make something creative-wise, you have to understand where it's going to be posted. How are people going to see it in the context of stuff they've seen previously? And is there something about it that's novel, that's able to... You can't just write a story. That's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, you can't just write what exactly you want to do and just put it out there. You have to have some sort of marketing strategy. And that's the way that it is these days. For instance, well, I'm not going to speculate too much about how other people were able to become successful. I'm just going to talk about the way I did it, which was to make meme-like animations, and then over time work on something a bit more serious, like the interface stuff, which still kind of is in the area of, that's kind of crosses over on like the meme world a little bit. Newgrounds has a large support of people that are very passionate about animation. The Newgrounds people are great, but the audiences are on YouTube, and Newground is a very passionate group of people. But if you really want to be able to have it seen by a lot of people, you have to promote yourself equally as much on YouTube. Hey, Alex, thank you. I am staying hydrated. I got lots of water right here. Hey, thanks, Tucker. And, everyone else too. Thank you. I know I can't say hello to everyone, but seeing the comments here. Hey, G-Man. Yeah, I stopped doing the mischief face cam thing because it was like lagging my computer every time. Actually, I've simplified the live streams a lot because I used to have it like simultaneously streaming to Twitch and stuff. And it just got buggy, and I used to have to use this like chat thing, and it was really annoying. Now I just stream on YouTube. I can't deal with the bugs anymore. So the using a webcam is like it just works, and I don't have to worry about it too much. Thank you, Rice Reaper. Have you ever performed your music live? Like I said, unfortunately, I'm not very good at playing my music live. It just kind of sounds like a mess. I have to use like a what do you call it? Transposer to stay in key. I just feel like it's just using tools to my advantage, but that means I can't really play music live. Though I can play drums now, sort of. I don't know if I can play them that well, but I've been playing them for about 6 months. Carolina signed me up for some drum classes, and I've been doing that. That's like a drum studio down the street. I just go down there. Hey, Rice Reaper, thanks, man. I appreciate you sharing my stuff. What do you have at store? Well, just basically finishing interface. That's what I'm focusing on. After that, there's a few things I'm planning to work on, but I can't really go into detail about it. Because I don't really like announcing things unless they're like 100% for sure, you know? So I'm just going to be probably after interface, I'm going to take a break and just do like little simple animations for a while. Make the vinyls and the DVDs, the Blu-rays, whatever, and try to take some time off in the summer because like this whole year has been really a drag for everyone. But I feel like it's especially been difficult just because everything's been closed. Like Montreal, like I don't know if you guys know, there's like a curfew now. You can't even go outside past 8 o'clock. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so okay, I'm gonna focus on some lighting here. Haven't been able to like visit family and stuff either in over like a year, so. The valve effect. Never announce something that requires more decision making still. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because you don't want to announce something. It's like CD Projekt Red. They announced Cyberpunk so early after they released The Witcher 3. People got so hyped about it, and then they were like forced to like release it early, and because after they pushed it back so many times, and they still disappointed people. They should have just went silent, you know? And I feel like Rockstar Games is actually doing that right now. People are like, oh, it's been like 8 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, but I bet you they're working on it. They're just being quiet, you know? There's a whole lot of things. You know, the thing is, though, the creators of Grand Theft Auto, I forget the guy's name, whatever, but he started his own company now, and he's making a game called Everywhere. The original, the OG creators to that game. So it's supposed to be similar to Grand Theft Auto, I think. I don't know how similar. I'd be curious to see what that looks like, though, because I feel like I wasn't very crazy about Grand Theft Auto 5. I thought Grand Theft Auto 4 was much more interesting. Though 5 has better graphics and stuff. What else is there? Hey, Kevin. Yeah, man. Do you, what if you make a Discord server? Hey, Toto MC, actually, I do have a Discord server, and you can find it Just gotta find. I think it's in the. If you go on the about page of my YouTube channel, you'll see a link there, or at the scroll down in the descriptions at the bottom of my videos, you'll find a link. And it's run by some extremely wonderful mods that I'm really grateful for because I haven't really been able to go in there very often. I've just been animating the whole time. Silverman, hey, what's going on? On VHS. I thought about, yeah, well, we might be doing that too, actually. I don't know how many I'll make. It might be kind of expensive because, well, we'll see. Putting interface on VHS just for fun. I'll probably make like a couple hundred or something just for be fun. Let's see, okay. Would you ever consider making a point and click game? MFG? I don't know if I would, because I feel like that time for that has kind of passed. I might do like a storyline based video game, kind of similar to something like um, I don't know, but it wouldn't be point and click exactly. I guess it'd be more like. Honestly, I haven't even really thought about this stuff because video games is not even within my range of skill sets, so I haven't really. That's like something I would have to do with a huge team of people. It's just too much work to make video games. So. Though I'm in the right city, though. Time ever came to that. There's tons of video game companies here, lots of developers. I think actually his face, I might put it in shadow. I always wanted to make a video game of like, well, I think there's a game that's like this right now, actually, but it's a little bit different. There's like a game where there's like ghosts in a house. I forget what it is. It's scary, whatever. Oh, what did I just do there? Moved my colors around. I thought it'd be fun to make a game where you are a ghost, and it's like you can walk around the house and pick up books, and obviously you're invisible, and then you could like throw it across the room, or like I don't know, you could like play the piano or something, or I don't know, or like go to the kitchen, get a bunch of knives, and just like start throwing them at people in the house, right? But because you're invisible, they can't see you. And the point of the game would be to scare people. I think there's a game like that right now, though. I think what Phasmophobia. Yeah, but I don't know if you can be a ghost in that game. I could be like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It would be like a room, like a house that's extremely detailed. Like imagine like the budget behind like a AAA video game, but they just spent it on one house. So like every single object you can interact with, uh, like in every single type of way, like water, bowls of water and stuff. I think that would be cool. And the point is just scare people. Yeah, I think his face looks a little bit better when it's in shadow. Maybe I'll just have like this part of it red there, like his mustaches. Yeah. His hair looks kind of weird though. It looks like it's too thick. It's just like too much detail in there. I don't know. Let me just undo that. I think the problem is that it's like comes out in the wrong place maybe. Yeah, that's better. That's all it is. Do you remember Silent Hill's PT demo? Yeah, that was really good. I never actually played it because I think you had to use like a PlayStation for a limited time or something, but I watched someone play it, like a recording on like YouTube or something. That was very cool. That had so much potential, and then they just like canceled it. There's a game called Midnight Ghost Hunt that is like that, sort of like Rob Hunt, but ghosts can fight back. Hasn't released yet. Okay. There's a Half-Life 2 mod called The Hidden that has gameplay like that. Oh. So check that one out. So what's up with Valve? Because they came out with this Half-Life Alex game that's like VR. But I feel like they must be working on like Half-Life 3 now, you know? People were so disenfranchised after so much time has passed, and then they were like, new Half-Life games coming out. People lost their mind, and they're like, oh, but it's like a VR sort of thing, which is fine. And people, I think it's a really well-made game. I haven't played it yet, but I think people were expecting a continuation of the storyline since episode 2. They must be working on something like that. They couldn't like create all those new assets for Half-Life Alyx and then not use it in the third game. So that's how I feel about it. I think I might put more shadow here. Black. Yeah, that looks better. This really dark shadow. Actually, I think I can make this arm a little bit more. Yeah. Let's give him some highlights over here. Hey, used mop. What's going on, man? Valve can't count to 3. Yeah, that's like true, eh? Because another what is that game where you're like running around with the Portal? Another Portal game would be awesome too. Gabe Newell said there's new momentum to make games within the company recently. What does that even mean? All you have to do is like, just like, do it. You don't need like momentum. It's like Gabe Newell, man. You just have to say the word. People be like lining up to make a third Half-Life game. You have to be pushing people away. But think about it this way, though, right? Like, Gabe has been working on Half-Life related stuff since it started, like, back in 1998 or whatever it was, or 1997. That's like 20 years. You'd think after a while you'd get kind of sick of it. I mean, that's like if I was making interface episodes when I was like 50. So I can kind of see where he's coming from there. He might be a little bit apprehensive about doing more Half-Life stuff, you know? I don't know. You just gotta get the right person in charge, take over. Sometimes it's not about like just making a third one, because it's not so much about to him, maybe it's not so much about like there needs to be a third one. If they're, I just feel like they need to finish their story. That's the problem. If you're gonna have like a cliffhanger ending, you should at least finish it. So I think that's probably where most people are coming from there. That's why I don't really want to, when I finish, interface, there's not really going to be much of a cliffhanger, or if anything, really, there's going to be some unanswered questions, obviously, but I don't want it to be like a cliffhanger, like the end of episode 22 kind of thing, End of episode 22 was kind of the first time I did a cliffhanger. Because usually I think the episodes kind of like wrap up. I mean, I could be remembering things wrong, but I think that's... I think momentum is important. Doing it without that kind of impulse might just make a half-baked thing that just frustrates. I totally agree with that. They had about a decade of creative, but they made Half-Life a couple times, didn't live up to the quality they wanted. They make so much money that, yeah, well. What motivates you to make new videos? I don't really know. Like if I have an idea for something that I think will be hilarious, I don't really need the motivation. Like, I'll just be on my computer all day until it's finished. That kind of happened with the Grubhub video. If I'm having a hard time, I find it's very difficult for me to want to do animation. Coming up with ideas and stuff, I just get frustrated, and I think that's normal. It happens with interface often, because it's such a complicated series. That's why there's a lot of bonus videos in between episodes of interface, because I'm working on interface and I'm like doing the work, but then I think of something short and funny and I'm just like, oh, I gotta do that instead. That'd be so much funner to do. So, but I'm happy with where interface is going now. I got it all worked out. It's just a matter of me doing the work. Thing is, these next 2 episodes are like so intensive. It's just it's a lot of work for me to do. That's all. Valve's organized really weird. Everyone basically does whatever they want without direction, from what I understand. I heard about that too. Apparently there's like some sort of it's like horizontal management or something. where people like have to be convinced to work on a project. But I don't really understand how that works. Like, I don't know. Like, how does that work? Like, you can't just like get hired by Valve and then be like, I'm gonna just make my own video game. I mean, maybe that's what it's like. I don't know. Blaze Bailey Fingan got a huge Godspeed field from episode 2. I don't know what that is, unless you're talking about the music Godspeed, but do you have any projects for After Interface? Any new web series? I've got a few things kind of working out with Carolina that I'm thinking about, but I can't really say. So there's a few things going on, but nothing solid. Just some ideas bouncing around. Lyle, hi from Philippines. Hey, Lyle. I don't know if I said that right, Lyle. Are you shopping around? Simone's Curio. Can't really say. Not really. But maybe sometime soon in the future. That might be something. Valve is rediscovering that same fun factor that you used to make your videos. They hire really good artists / tech geniuses and give them room to play around, work on their own projects, collaborate. I think that's a smart way. I mean, they got so much money, they can do that sort of thing, you know? They have they're creative, creatively, they're able to do stuff like that because they made such a smart decision by starting Steam 15 years ago, whatever it was. I remember when Steam came out, it was like a new thing. People were like pissed. They're like, what? Like video games? Like I go to the store to buy my video game. I have a physical version of it. Some people probably still feel like that way, you know? And honestly, it is kind of sketchy to just have all your physical purchases on some account somewhere, not a physical version of it. But I think the Steam platform has really made things a lot better, though. They've really they've just, remember when you used to have to like download patches for video games? I don't know how old you guys are, but you used to have to like go to sketchy websites and they would have like patches you'd have to download. The band, yeah. Oh, they're from the Mile End? I didn't know that. I think Carolina likes to listen to their music. I've heard it before. I don't listen to it that much though. Godspeed You Black Emperor, I think is what it's called. It's like people who are important move their desks around and work on whatever they want, and then they hire and fire people for. Oh man, that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, so I got Henrik here. Let's save this. Copy merged. I have to put clouds. Hold on a second, guys. Just give me a second here. basically just making a separate layer so that I can put my clouds on it. And I'm doing my clouds at a higher resolution than the Henrik drawing because they're going to pan across the screen. And so I need more than... So this Henrik right here is just a reference basically. And this is the actual animation layer I'm going to use. I'll delete all this stuff I don't need. Henrik enters tunnel and Henrik enters tunnel underscore cloud. Cyberpunk 2077 had a GLaDOS car that tried to kill you. Yeah, actually, I played that mission. And then it like glitched out at the end, and I can't get past that particular level. Because now, I don't know, I was like trying to like do it too early in the game or something, and I like would instantly get headshot immediately and die. I reloaded the game like 100 times and it wouldn't work, so I just like ran away. Now I think I leveled up. So I try to go back there, but it's like glitched out, doesn't move, so I don't know. So I'm drawing some clouds here now. No super chat on this platform. I'm sorry, man. I turned it off because I really do appreciate the generosity you guys give me, but sometimes I just want to talk with you guys and I don't want to have super chats and stuff, you know? So I turned it off this time. You should make a mini series in the interface series. Send memes. Yeah, I mean that might be something cool to do. I thought about doing something like that. I mean, I try to use real life things in interface, so the nuclear tests and stuff were all based on real things. Even like, you know, the landscape when Henrik parachutes down from the sky. I didn't just like draw that building randomly. It was a building that existed at that time period that no longer exists now. And if you are able to look up if you figure out what it is, one person did at least, you can determine where exactly he was stationed or where exactly it was he was falling from the sky. Those are the kind of little Easter eggs I like to put in the interface. You did not expect you to stream in the night. I control then B. I don't usually stream at night, but I just felt like doing it today because I didn't really know what else to do. And I didn't want to just sit there and watch TV like I sometimes do. I've been watching a lot of movies recently. A ton of movies. Like I've been watching a movie like every other day, so I've been rewatching like old good movies that I like. There's like a new Western movie that came out. It's on Netflix called Hostiles. I think it's an excellent movie if you guys haven't seen it. Oh, and there was that Spanish movie, Fury of a Patient Man. That's another slow burn, but it's a That's a good movie too. It's got subtitles though, which is kind of a drag sometimes because I just want to like watch the visuals, especially when the cinematography is so amazing. You don't want to be like looking at the subtitles. But that movie was excellent, so I recommend that one. Lyle, what's your favorite color palette? I like just, oh, well, you might figure this from watching interface, but I like using a lot of high contrast colors, like pure blacks and solid red and that sort of thing. And I like using highlights to kind of give the figures some sort of dimension. Like, for instance, if I were to draw a new thing right now, okay, let's just draw, this is black, and if I were to draw someone standing there, you can do a lot just by drawing the highlights. You see? Like, say, this might be Henrik or someone, I don't know. Suddenly, you got some sort of character here. And it's very minimally drawn, but it kind of has some sort of dimension to it, you know? I mean, obviously, I usually draw it better than that, but you see what I'm saying. That's the kind of color palette choices I like to use. I don't really like flat colors that much. Hey, FWN, thank you for the comment there. Vermeer, what's you reference a lot of fine art in your paintings. I think that's dope. It's like sampling with visuals. Yeah, what do you say though? What is the fine lines between reference and stealing? Yeah, that's a good question because I use a lot of reference images and basically just drawing over it. But then, you know, what I like to do is I use reference images and, you know, really do, sometimes I trace just so I can get things in perspective properly. But about, you know, sometimes soon after I like to delete the reference so I'm not just completely replicating it. For instance, let's see here if I can. Well, this is a 3D rendering that I made. And so I find that if you're able to create your own references, it's actually a little bit better because then you're not so much just like taking from one image search, right? Like I made this in Cinema 4D, whatever, just so I could get the perspective. And then I drew the outline and stuff, right? And so I had everything in the right perspective because I find that to be difficult to do. And I don't like this shot. I just drew from what happened to my clouds? Did I just delete them? Okay, so but okay, for instance, if I'm referencing a painting and I'm deliberately want it to be a reference of a painting, I don't really care too much to have it look like a copy because the point is that it is the painting, but it is the painting in my style. You know. Otherwise, you know, I don't think like if you're tracing and stuff, it's not really that bad as long as you're not tracing someone else's. Like, say for instance, you trace someone else's comic book. It's like already an illustration. So if you're tracing an illustration on an illustration, that to me feels more like stealing. But say, for instance, you're taking a photograph, like you're using a photograph that someone took of a location, and it was never intended to be turned into an illustration, particularly for animation. And you don't necessarily copy it so much. You just use it to get the perspective or the references or like the windows in the right place, right? And then you make it your own thing with your own colors. Then I think it's not such a big deal, you know. I don't think it's really considered stealing at that point. Learn Spanish. Yeah, I should learn Spanish. I watched that movie and I think it was in Spanish. I'm asking because in some art/film communities I browse, people are snobby about it and shun it. Hey, Vermeer, I'll tell you something about the arts community. Don't listen to what they have to say. I mean, okay, for instance, all right, there's a lot of snobbiness and stuff in the art world, especially like film co-ops and stuff. Like, I had this job interview once at a film co-op, and it was for some sort of technician role. And I remember they were asking me about film and what kind of films what do you use to shoot on, right? And I said, I use digital because I'm just trying to tell a story and I don't necessarily have the means to use actual film, let alone the fact that it's extremely difficult to have that stuff processed these days. You have to. And I remember the guy was saying something, he said something ridiculous. He's like, oh, well, you know, film co-op, you know, we use film because cinema or something stupid. Like, it's not the medium that matters, right? And I was watching this interview. You guys know this Joel Haver guy, right? He's been blowing up on YouTube recently, right? I'm a super fan of this guy because he's able to take technology that makes things easier and do it in a way that's novel but also funny and good. And and I remember he was saying people would be like, "Oh, you're just tracing on the drawing and stuff. Like, that's like cheating, right? Like you should be animating every frame hand by hand, like, right? Like, if you were to do that, the animations would never get finished." What I'm trying to say is, don't listen to other artists when it comes to your own creative work. Should listen to, you know, if there's someone that has your best interest in heart and mind, and they want to see you successful. But if someone's like, you know, someone's getting snobby about like tracing or like or using tools or using digital in ways that make it easier for you to do your art, so long as you're not just like straight up copying and pasting stuff and ripping people off and violating copyright, I wouldn't put too much. I don't put too much thought in that, is what I'm trying to say. Just to, you know, do your own thing. Because at the end of the day, whatever is good is going to make it to the top. And people can be snobby about stuff, and you may never see it go anywhere. Honestly, there's a lot of, like, I think he was even saying the same thing. He went to film school like I went to film school, and I had the same experience. Nobody at that time said that YouTube could be a potential career path during film school, which is, what you think about it, a little bit obscene, because there's people on YouTube that are able to make a career out of it. And you don't have to make a lot of money. If you just make $35,000 a year, that's a base salary, you know, that's a salary. That's what I used to make when I moved to Montreal at my old job, which I did not like. right? But if you're able to put out content that gets an audience, and you're able to make just a regular, even if it's minimum wage, like, or whatever, right? Like, that's still a career, like, and you're able to have some sort of creative fulfillment there too. But it's crazy. I went to film school. They never mentioned, if anything, they kind of looked down on YouTube back then. Everyone would upload to Vimeo because Vimeo's for artists and YouTube is for what, cat videos and stuff. But they never saw the potential of what YouTube could be. So, kind of rambling too, eh? Do you like Drew Langlois? Oh, of course, man. I love the stuff. He works with Minute Hour. That's actually how I found him. That guy has a lot more patience for animation than I do, for sure. He does a lot of gesticulation of the limbs, which my characters are kind of like cardboard cutouts half the time. But at this point, it's a styles choice, right? Do you find the rules on YouTube to restrict your creative freedom? Not really, because I never really had an inclination to draw obscene stuff or have crazy language. Because, not that I don't think it's bad or anything. I mean, I grew up watching like crazy violent animations, like some of the stuff that Dave Firth would make, or and I thought it's hilarious stuff. But like, if he were to try to monetize that stuff today, I don't know if he's even able to. Like the Milkman stuff, I don't know, those really crazy animations he used to make. But I don't really want to do that because I feel like it's been done, and I don't want to continue doing stuff that's been done before on the web, at least. So. Is there a certain animation in yours that got bigger than and more viral than what you were expecting? Uh, the Soup Sun videos are pretty successful for something that isn't a pre-existing meme. So I was kind of surprised to see how well they have done. The Thomas the Thermonuclear Bomb video, I kind of made that with the intention that it would do well because I wanted to get more eyes on my other stuff like interface. I knew that Thomas the Tank Engine memes were popular at the time, and they still are, even after all these years. I didn't think it would get 6 million views though. Like, that's kind of crazy. And I feel like it's like if I were to just make another 4 Thomas the X, right, videos, I could probably like increase the friggin' view count of my channel by like tenfold because that's just how YouTube works. But first, I don't really want to make more Thomas videos. I don't want to be known as the guy that makes weird Thomas the Tank Engine videos. So that is why I haven't done it. Hey there, Silent Lamb. Jared Watts. Just want to say all my roommates now would get together to watch your vids. Hey man, thank you for that. That makes me happy. Just wonder how the world will be when in years most university. Man, it's like this. Like, you can learn so much off of YouTube now. Like, it's a lot different than it was 10 years ago. and it's going to be a hell of a lot different than it was 10 years from now, hopefully for the better. You can learn a lot of stuff. It's almost getting to a point where I feel like if you are determined enough, you can, well, it's getting competitive with like traditional education is what I'm trying to say. You know, especially for things that aren't so technically important. Like, I don't think you can become like a structural engineer just by watching YouTube videos. I mean, you might be good at, you might learn a lot about it, but you still need or a lawyer, for instance, right? But I'm saying, like, you know, if you wanted to get into film production or something, there's tons of how to edit videos on YouTube. You don't need to really go to a university class for that, really. I mean, it's not like if you make a mistake with video editing, you're not going to be like the ceiling's not going to collapse in on someone. So it's not so critical that the source of your education is been vetoed, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Your channel combined with the animations we've discussed today, it made me buy a drawing tablet. Once I'm good at it, I'll want to work with you. I think, hey, listen, man, I think it's fantastic that you want to improve your drawing skills, and you don't even need an expensive tablet to do that. I'm using the one that costs $40 off of eBay still. I think that works great. So if you ever want to send me some stuff, go ahead, send it to my email, you know. But there's no guarantees I'll be able to like collaborate with people, because honestly, I do get a lot of emails for that kind of stuff, and I just have to turn it down because if, you know, otherwise I wouldn't get any of my own stuff. I just, you know, I find collaboration to be fun when I do it, but when I do it, I try to make it, well, at least one day, could be something that happen in the future, I guess. Sig Kill, do you have a PayPal or crypto wallet to send tips to? I do have a crypto wallet, but I don't have it. I don't set it. I don't know if I have people send money to it. And I never actually funded it either. It's like, you guys ever heard of the Brave browser? It's like a web browser that removes all the ads. And people, they put like, it's like Patreon. They put like $10 a month, they pay for it, right? That money gets distributed to their favorite, to the websites that they visit the most. Anyways, I set myself up as a publisher there, and they pay out through cryptocurrency, I think. So that's how I have a wallet for that sort of thing, but I never really set it up. But I do appreciate you offering, though. I thank you very much. But I don't know. The best way, if you guys want to support me, is just, you know, the merch and that sort of thing. That way you get something physical out of it. What are your thoughts on Pilot Red Sun? I get that question asked a lot on this channel. And I have a lot of respect for him because he doesn't do memes at all, really. He makes memes, I guess, but he doesn't really use memes. And he's very successful at making completely original stuff. And it's very able to connect with people. And it's so unique. So I feel like he's really one of the best creators on YouTube right now, actually. in that category, which is animation. Okay, I'm really taking a long time to draw these clouds, aren't I? But I kind of like having this like wavy line texture to it. Umami, are you a gamer? Billy Gray. I am. I've been playing Death Stranding and Hunt Showdown, Cyberpunk. But honestly, I'm not like super into video games that much anymore. Like I play I play Hunt Showdown because it's kind of addicting. But apart from that, like I haven't really been looking forward to a game in a long time. If Valve came out with Half-Life Episode 3 or whatever, I would definitely buy it the day it comes out, though. It's one of my favorites. But I mean, I was looking forward to Cyberpunk, and I've been kind of. I don't really think it's that good of a. It's not great, honestly. I feel like the graphics are amazing. The storyline's kind of whatever. It's kind of like Deus Ex, except Deus Ex is way better at what it does. The Witcher 3 was awesome, though. So that's kind of why I was looking forward to playing it, but I don't know. I don't know. I spend too much time on the computer, so like it's hard for me to get excited about video games now because like it's like another thing that you do on the computer. Hey, Billy Gray. Yeah, thanks, man. Death Stranding. You know what I loved about Death Stranding was just how unique and creative it was. The actual gameplay, though, is kind of leaves a lot to be desired. And having to like go through the menus is really it takes away from the enjoyment. I haven't beat it yet. I'm playing it on the hardest setting, and I'm like at the part at the very end. Actually, I made it to the beach, I guess. I won't give any spoilers, I guess, if someone else hasn't played it yet. But I think I'm at the part where he has to like go back home or something. So probably like very close to the end. It has probably some of the best facial capture technology I've seen ever in a video game. It's like looks phenomenal. The lighting is very good in that game. And I don't know if they even really use ray tracing, or maybe they do. Yeah, I think they do. I don't know. You know, I actually find the ray tracing in Cyberpunk. I find the lighting in that game to be not that great. Like it's when you're outdoors, it looks amazing, but I find a lot of the interiors to just be really dark. With like the lighting is like hit or miss sometimes, you know? Some of the scenes look cool, like inside the bars, the lighting is nice, but like a lot of the missions have like just really dark lighting and I don't know. Does Umami have a Discord server? Yes, I do. Let me post up a link here. How do you create invite? Oh God. Welcome. Create invite people. Okay, here we go. Never expire. All right, I'm gonna paste the link in the description. Join the Discord. Hey, Sleepy Maze, thank you. RTX is a gimmick. Well, I don't think it's a gimmick so much. I just feel that there hasn't been enough time for developers to really figure out how to use it in the best ways possible. I feel like you can't just slap it on there. You can't just slap on RTX and then have it figure out the lighting for your scene. I do feel it is a gimmick though when you see RTX in games and they have like characters or like scenes that are just full of chrome. It kind of reminds me of like those like early NVIDIA demos when they like invented reflections or whatever and they just had it in everything. It's kind of silly. There are some times when I see RTX and it does look fantastic though. Ambient occlusion, I guess is what it's called. And a lot of video games without ray tracing, like the lighting behind like a bunch of like a stack of barrels or something will just look very flat. But with the ray tracing, it will look exactly how it should look, which is it gets pretty much pitch black in between the barrels because there's no light bouncing around back there. It just needs like another 5-10 years for the developers to really figure out how to use it the best way possible, I think. It's going to make things a lot easier for them though. They don't have to bake in the lighting anymore, you know? Everything will be dynamic lighting. Control uses RTX well, yeah. I think I saw some trailers for that game. Any themes or stories you want to explore after interface? It's a good question. I actually don't really know. That's what I think I need, like take a little bit of a break because I don't really know. Well, not like a break from animating. Like I'll still make bonus videos and stuff, but I mean like a break from the next big thing because I need to figure out what exactly it is I want to do. I don't want to just like make something without there being some sort of meaning behind it. But I mean, I guess I could do that too. That might be fun just to have some silly short series. I was thinking of making like a couple burying hands videos, but I don't think it would be like to the extent of interface where there's like 24 episodes. Okay, what time is it? Oh, it's almost 12. Is McDriven based on the LOL internet's meme? When I was making that, I actually kind of forgot about that. That's like from the You're the Man Now Dog days, isn't it? It wasn't really based on it. I think I subconsciously based it on it though, because he's like driving the same car, which is a giant shoe. But I wasn't like thinking to create like a different version of that. It was just more like he's driving his car on the highway. Styrofoam. Episode 24. It will be the last episode that wraps up the storyline of Henrik and Mischief. And the Greetings Robotics stuff, I think. There is some, I have a few ideas on what I could also expand upon in the future, but I don't want to get into it because it's not like guaranteed to happen, so. Check out shadertoy.com for a rate of really okay. Sigkill, I'll check that out. Shadertoy.com. Cool. I'll check it out afterwards, maybe, or tomorrow, maybe when I'm not about to fall asleep. Do you use any hardware to produce music, or are you using all digital? K Mickle Plays. I'm using, well, I recently got an ASM Hydrosynth, which is a hardware synthesizer. It's a digital synthesizer, but very capable one. It's got polyphonic aftertouch, which is one of the reasons why I bought it, honestly. So it can double as a MIDI keyboard, and while also being a very awesome synth. So most of the sounds that you heard in the Problems album, which I just released, you can see it on my channel, the Corona Wave Volume 2. Most of those sounds are made using the Hydrosynth. Apart from the violin and the cello and the viola, which are software sound libraries, the Hydrosynth is just like some of the sounds that makes it so cool. It sounds very organic. I'm learning to play the drums. So I haven't been able to record myself doing that or using it in my music yet, but maybe one day in the future I'll have like a real drum sound that I played myself, you know? I don't know. It's a wave morpher. Yeah, it's kind of got like a wavetable thing. It's I was doing like a lot of research on synths, and that was between this one, the ASM Hydrosynth, the Arturia Polybrute, and this new company called UDO that made a synth called the Super 6. And I chose the ASM Hydrosynth because I thought it offered the most for the price point. It was about half as much money as buying a Polybrute or a UDO Super 6. And it offered a lot. So that was basically my decision making process there. And it's also my first synth. I didn't want to get something too complicated, and this is, I wouldn't say this is not complicated. It can be complicated, but it's very intuitive, which I like. Dude, do you own your or heard of the OP1? Sounds like it would be right up your alley. Is that made by Prophet, right? Prophet OP1? I think so. That's like it's like an analog synth, isn't it? I think I saw some of those videos and stuff. Not really. I don't know. I'm not. I kind of just like the Hydrosynth was like a new thing that came out. Old stuff, yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is with the old stuff, I don't want to like. I just feel like with a lot of the old stuff, I can actually emulate that with the, it's digital, right? It's not, it doesn't have the analog flavor that people like, but there's a lot of crossover between synths, even with just the ones built into Logic, and I don't want my life to get too complicated by having to get something too like analog, and I have to like tune them and stuff. I don't know how difficult it is, but you should learn the theremin. That's a cool instrument. I might have to try it in the store somewhere if there's someone sets it up. Hey, I'm a guitar player and a drummer that is looking to get into some sort of synth setup. What is something to get started with? Luke Jackson. Well, what I would suggest, what kind of DAW do you use? Like, what's your digital audio workstation? Because I use Logic, and it has a lot of digital synthesizers built into it, which are extremely capable. And in which case, you can just get a cheap MIDI keyboard, no more than $400 or whatever, around that price. You can play it like a synth and record it into the computer. And that way you can learn the basics of what a synth, how it works, and to create the tones that you want. Because I find that it's a lot of trial and error with playing with the different waveforms and that sort of thing until you're able to kind of come up with a sound that you want to make. So if you're like, let's say, I don't know what your budget is basically, and I'm not really the best person to be asking because I just bought my first hardware synth like 6 months ago or 4 months ago. But I would suggest maybe just getting a MIDI keyboard and using the computer digital synths first, because you can learn a lot just from doing that, and that's how I made my music for so long, you know. Start a spin-off series called Mischief's Corner where he reviews movies and games, answers comments and fan mail, and does parody skits of scenes from movies and TV shows. Hey, it's not a bad idea. I thought maybe it might be kind of cool to like, you know how he did like that fake live stream thing that he did? Like after interface is done, is to like film some videos in public, whatever. Not with myself in them, but just like out. If I notice something weird about some certain location, just film it with my phone and have him animated in the scene and have him comment on something. That might be kind of funny. I don't know. Just kind of random ideas. Try something new, you know? Logan S. I just want to no more flashback scenes, first of all. I should say. This is not a flashback scene. It's a red sky, but it's not flashback. Logan S. Just want to thank you. Is there a way that we can donate one time instead of monthly contribution Patreon? Usually I have the super chats turned on, but I turned it off today. So maybe next time I'm live streaming, or I guess if you wanted to, on my Teespring page, I got some like really cheap things. Like you got like an enamel pin of Mischief's head. That might be cool because then, you know, that way you get an enamel pin out of it too. And it's like, I think they're like $7 or $9. I can't remember exactly how much they cost, but plus shipping. But if you're in the United States, then it's not that expensive for shipping. Serum is really good for DAW synths. Essentially, you can do anything because it's a wavetable. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see what I'm just like spending forever on these clouds. That's usually what happens when I live stream. I don't actually get too much stuff done, but at least I get the start of a shot done. So there's one layer to the clouds there. Maybe I might put another layer. Like if I had another layer of clouds. Well, let's see. Sometimes I like to put different layers of clouds and then have them animate at different speeds so that it kind of gives the illusion of parallax or it gives the illusion of like depth. Like some of these clouds are more in the foreground. Makes it a little bit more interesting to look at too, I think. That might be overdoing it though. I was very excited when I got my Soup Sun shirt for Christmas. Thanks, Joseph Valentine. When the DVD comes out, it'll be my first show series purchase. So should I like? Do you guys have Blu-ray players, or do you guys have like DVD players? Like, I feel like I should probably make it a Blu-ray. Does that make sense? Like, do people really have like if I made it a Blu-ray, would people have problems playing them back because they only have DVD players? I don't think I even have a Blu-ray player, so that's the thing, right? Like, I'm gonna have to buy one just so I can test out the file I make. I was thinking of like trying to figure out like the best way to give like a physical movie, like Blu-ray, then maybe like an SD card that has like the digital file on it or something, but I think that might be difficult to do. I don't really know. Got a combo Blu-ray DVD. So it's like Blu-ray on one side and then like DVD on the other. Blu-ray all the way. DVD is much more versatile. The problem with the DVD is that I can't really make it 4K though, which might be. Yeah, I'm gonna look into it. I mean, ultimately, if I'm making something, I want it to be something that people can have that's kind of like an archive so that they don't have to worry about technology becoming obsolete in the future. Like they'll be able to play it back 30 years in the future. But even if I include a little SD card, like even then, that's going to be like, we're not going to have SD cards 30 years from now. So I don't know. what to do. But I'll think of it's whatever it is, it's going to be nice. Okay, so I got Henrik here. Henrik and the clouds. Oh yeah, there's also a moon in this shot. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, I just a sound appeared on my screen. Kevin, oh, Kevin, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Trying to draw the moon here. Okay, so actually, this part is going to be. I don't know if I should do that or not, you know, or if I should just have it be like this, because that's how people draw the moon. But if you really look at the moon when it looks like this in the sky, you actually do see like the whole shape of it. It's just very faint. Except I feel like this dark red is a little too dark. Blu-ray plus digital download might be a good idea. That might be a good idea. I'm not a good judge of who has Blu-rays because I'm in the rural South. Do a VHS. I may do a VHS, don't worry. I may. There's a company here that does that, surprisingly enough, makes VHS tapes still. It's not even that far from me. It's like a 5-minute drive. Laserdisc. Yeah, not many people buy Blu-ray players, but they have the Xbox, PlayStations, yeah. Question, don't recall if it's been asked or been told, but what was the inspiration for interface? I get this question almost all the time, but I just wanted to make something new and different, and there wasn't really much inspiration there other than that I had some characters that in my sketchbook, old comics I drew, I thought to animate them. And then it developed and snowballed into a bigger thing. What is the story with the voice actor for Chef? It was cool to randomly hear Japanese in the episode as a Japanese person myself. Shintakos. For some reason, it just made sense that he was Japanese or he had Japanese, some sort of background because he is an octopus, and obviously there is cultural ties to Japan, an octopus, similar to how Hindu religion is tied in with the kami figure and having the multiple arms, or the Christian symbolism that's seen throughout the interface series for Henrik, or Catholicism. It doesn't distinguish. And I thought, if he's going to be Japanese, I'm going to have to hire a Japanese voice actor. I want it to be authentic sounding. And so I looked and I found someone. And I found a guy that was pretty good. And he did a great job. and he did the translations for the Japanese sections himself. And I actually might want to use him again, but the octopus doesn't really have a speaking part beyond episode 9, so I chose an octopus because he's supposed to represent like wisdom and knowledge, foresight, and that sort of thing. And octopuses are quite intelligent creatures. Lyle 2/3. I'm actually doing a comic for a while, and I'm a bit conflicted in mixing / manipulating photos to my drawings as against doing it as all hand drawn, which I'm used to and is time consuming. Lyle, I think you should do what you think is best. And sometimes you don't know the answer to that until you've made a lot of stuff. For instance, the Grubhub video, when that came out, I was very conflicted about whether or not I should put the actual commercial on the television or if I should reanimate the entire friggin' Grubhub commercial in my pixelated style so that I don't break the stylistic cohesiveness that I've established on the channel, which was everything is pixelated, nothing is video. But I broke my own rule there because it was kind of like a one-time thing, and I might do it again in the future, but in the end, I feel like it was the right choice to reuse the real commercial because I was making a commentary on that particular commercial, and by reanimating it in my own style, it would lose some of that commentary. So, and also, I mean, it's also, you have to think about it this way. I could reanimate all that stuff and it would take me days, probably weeks. And really, would it make any difference? People would just be like, what the hell? Why did you reanimate all that stuff? So you got to also manage your, I guess, your work balance and trade-off balance, if that makes any sense. Is all that extra work worth it if you can kind of take some shortcuts? But those are questions that you have to ask yourself. Are you comfortable discussing your workflow, collecting characters, deciding style and tone, etc.? I am, but I don't really think of things, like I don't really look at things literally. Like I don't, like if I'm coming up with a character, I don't just like sit there and be like, he needs to have a larger nose. Or like, you know, the Gulab Jamun character, I kind of just doodled him on a napkin one day, and I thought he looked hilarious. Oh no, it was for my father-in-law's Christmas card. I drew Gulab Jamun, and I thought he was. I just thought he looked interesting, and I made a character out of it. It's kind of more like an intuitive thing. I don't really like if I'm drawing a new character, I'll probably just sit down and I'll probably just doodle. Like I'll probably just do something like this, like. I don't know, like this is stupid. Like I don't even like the way this looks, but like like I just do like it's just a lot of random drawings, and eventually you'll find something that looks kind of funny, and I decide to go with it. Like Mischief, I've had drawn him in my sketchbook before as like a regular creepy clown looking guy, and kind of evolved over time to look the way he does now. The jarring differences with the two styles fit perfectly with how it played out in reality. That might be, yeah, that's an interesting interpretation too. Like the super smooth, crisp reality commercial being watched back in some jaggedy world. It's kind of like a unintentional creative undertone. The pixelated style really reminds me of Adobe Flash. This is what really drew me to your work. The auto draw in Flash often prevents detailed work, but you take that to new heights. That's interesting because when in high school and stuff a long time ago, there was like you could learn how to do animation and it would all be done in Flash, and it was all done vectorized. And I chose Photoshop for my method because of the pixelated. You can draw pixels, you know, what do you call it? Rasterized drawings. You can't really do this in Flash. As far as I'm concerned, I think you can do it with the grease pencil tool though in Blender, which uses vectors like Flash, but you can interpret it so that it's like pure black and white, so it actually ends up looking like pixels. No anti-aliasing. Have you ever thought about getting involved in indie games somehow? Oh, I answered this question earlier in the stream, and I haven't really thought much about it because it's just such a complicated thing to do. So I don't know, maybe one day, but I don't really have any plans for that. It's not really my area of expertise either, but which websites were you a fan of in the early days of the internet? Lewis. My dad showed me this website called joecartoon.com. So that was probably the first thing I saw on the internet that was animated. joecartoon.com. I think that was like one of the first guys too that ever put like animated stuff on the internet, like before Newgrounds. He had like these like little gerbil thing that was animated. It's pretty funny. And then there was like David Berth's animations, fatpie.com. E-Bomb's World had some pretty funny stuff, even though most of it was stolen. Do you speak Quebecois? Yeah, I can speak French. I don't really speak Quebecois that like with the accent. I find it difficult. And all the French classes I took, they would teach you the correct way to pronounce things, and not very helpful sometimes in Quebec because a lot of people here speak very with a heavy accent. It's difficult. Like when I went to Paris for a couple days to travel, I actually understood the Parisians more than I did people in Quebec, and it's kind of a shame. But listen, I'm not from Quebec. I wasn't born here. I'm from Nova Scotia. I'm an Anglophone. I try my best, but have you seen Big Top Burger by Worthy Kids? It's another pixelated show. Is it pixelated? I thought it was more like it was grease pencil. I don't know if it was pixelated. I've seen it. Yeah, I think it's. I think the it's got a really cool aesthetic. That's for sure. Joe Cartoon. That was like a bully type character. They made me think a bad mouse a squirrel. Yeah, that's some old stuff, man. I think he's got a YouTube channel now, but it's like it's not the same because he made those animations like 2001 or something. Left shark or right shark? I don't know. Hey, Mix5996, thank you. English speaking Montreal guy. Yeah, I mean, I went to French classes here for about 6 months, full time. So, I mean, when I have to go visit my doctor and stuff, and if I'm in town at the DMV or whatever, I'll speak French. Have you been keeping up with David's stuff lately? It's cool to see him still putting out material. I have seen some of the new thing he just released, and then he put out a new salad fingers like last year, I think, which was cool to see. I thought that was pretty awesome. The amount of detail he puts into his stuff is like increased tenfold from what I remember it used to be like. Do you know Wisdom? Sorry, man, I don't. Hi, friend. Billionaire, how you doing? Do you have a favorite software / instrument VST? There's like a new one in Logic called Mellotron, and it sounds pretty realistic to like a real Mellotron. So that's like a native one that comes with Logic. I think that one's one of my favorites. Software instruments. I got some kind of expensive like violin sound libraries from Spitfire, and they're pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean they're not cheap, but the Mellotron one, which came with Logic, was free. Or I mean, it came with the price of buying Logic. Pixely aesthetic race pencil, yeah. Do you know Kim Turry's Pennywise is a cultural ancestor to the deep voice clown? Do you think Tim Curry's Pennywise is a cultural ancestor? Yeah, it is probably Jack Nicholson, a little bit, probably some influence there for sure. Played some tracks for Adult Swim intermissions. You might be interested in talking to him. Okay, that's cool, man. Wisdom? Yeah, I'll check it out. Wisdom. I use Redtron VST. It's a free mellow emulator. Okay, I'll check it out too. Hey, Umami, ever watch Red Letter Media? I know who they are. I've never really watched a full video. They do like movie reviews and stuff, right? I just never had a time to sit down and watch it, so I don't know what they're like, but I heard of them. Brendan, Jeremy, and Brendan. All right, thanks, man. I'll check it out. Wisdom. How often do you think of the end of the universe? Not that often, but I don't think about the end of it. I think about how expansive it is. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna finish this. I think I'm gonna wrap this up because I got the shot that I wanted to draw, and it's getting late, and I just want to go to sleep now. So I'll probably tomorrow, whatever. I'll probably like, or maybe not tomorrow. Maybe Sunday. I'll animate Henrik kind of moving his head up a bit because he's supposed to look in this direction later. And then he's going to walk forward, revealing the moon, which might be scaled down a bit because it looks a little bit big right now. But that is it for now. I got my shot. Look at Henrik's ear. There's a woman in it. Like this. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'll see you all next time.